Welcome to the Sleepy Christian. Tonight, we'll be talking about what it means to walk with Jesus, gently, slowly, with peace in our hearts. Before we begin, take a moment to get comfortable. Let the day go, let your mind settle, and as you close your eyes, think about where you are in the world tonight. Whether you're listening from a quiet countryside or a busy city, whether you're curled up in a warm bed or resting in your favorite chair, wherever you are welcome here. This time is just for you. Let's begin our gentle walk. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to walk side by side with Jesus? Not in a storybook way, but truly walk with him, under the open sky, with nothing between you and his presence, but the sound of your footsteps in the dust. Imagine that now. The day is fading, and the sky is brushed with soft streaks of amber and pale rose, the kind of sky that invites stillness. The world has quieted its noise, and for the first time today, maybe for the first time in a long time, you feel a pull toward peace. You find yourself on a long, winding road, the kind you'd see in a countryside painting, where the hills roll gently into the horizon and wildflowers peek up from the edges. But this isn't a dream. It feels more real than anything else. The ground beneath your feet is warm from the sun that's just dipped below the hills, and the air is cool and tender on your skin, like a soft breath from heaven itself. And there, beside you, walking without hurry, is Jesus. He doesn't say a word right away, and you don't need him to. Somehow, just his presence eases the tightness in your chest. You realize you've been holding something, maybe everything, too tightly. Worry, expectations, guilt, doubts. You've carried it all, sometimes without even knowing it. But as you walk, you feel the weight begin to shift. The silence between you isn't empty. It's full of understanding, full of calm. Jesus doesn't rush. He doesn't try to fix everything all at once. He just walks, as if to say, I'm here, and that's enough for now. The road bends slightly, and the soft crunch of gravel underfoot begins to lull you into a rhythm. Your shoulders drop, your breath slows. You notice the sounds around you now: crickets waking for the evening, a breeze whispering through tall grass, the distant call of a bird settling into its nest. Everything is slowing down, and so are you. For the first time today, maybe the first time this week, your thoughts are no longer racing. They're walking too, steady, gentle, unhurried, beside the one who knows you completely and loves you still. There's something healing in the way. He matches your pace. He doesn't walk ahead, pulling you faster than you're ready to go. He doesn't lag behind, waiting for you to figure it out on your own. He walks with you, right here, right now, and in that simple companionship, you begin to understand something that can't really be explained, only felt. That you were never meant to walk this life alone. That even when it felt like no one saw you, he did. Even when the path was confusing or dark, he was there, guiding each step, whether you knew it or not. The light around you begins to soften into twilight, and everything glows with a quiet kind of beauty. You glance over at Jesus, and there's no urgency in his expression, only peace. It's the kind of peace that doesn't depend on your circumstances. It doesn't come from a perfect day or a trouble-free life. It comes from him, and he's offering it to you now, without condition. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to explain where you've been or what you've done. You just need to keep walking, step by step, moment by moment. With each passing minute, your heart feels lighter, like the dust in the air slowly settling back to the earth. You realize this is more than a walk. It's a return. A homecoming, a gentle reminder that you belong, not because of what you've achieved, but because of who walks beside you. You don't have to be strong all the time. You don't have to have the answers. You don't even need to speak. Just being here, in his presence, is enough. And in this holy quiet, as the stars begin to blink awake in the deepening sky, you begin to feel something you may not have felt in a long time. Rest, not just for your body, for your soul. For your heart that's been trying so hard, for your mind that never stops spinning. Here, on this dusty road, walking beside Jesus, you begin to let go, and you begin to fall into peace. The silence between you has lasted for a while now, but it hasn't felt empty, not for a second. If anything, it's been a balm to your heart, a kind of silence that speaks louder than words. But then, just as a soft wind moves through the trees, without warning, Jesus begins to speak. His voice is nothing like the world's voices. There's no rush, no pressure, no expectation hiding behind the words. It's warm and steady, the kind of voice that feels familiar even if you've never heard it before. It doesn't demand your attention, it simply draws you in, as though your soul was made to hear it. He speaks your name, and somehow, just hearing it spoken in that way begins to undo something tightly wound inside of you. There's something in his tone, like he's known you forever, and there's nothing you could say or do that would change the love he carries for you. He doesn't begin with correction or challenge or deep theology. He starts with kindness, with truth, with peace. He tells you that you are not forgotten, that you are never overlooked, that even the smallest thoughts of your heart, the ones you've never dared to say out loud, are known to him, and still, you are completely loved. As he speaks, something within you begins to loosen, like a tightly clenched fist slowly relaxing. His words are gentle but strong, like water smoothing the edges of a stone. He tells you that the world may have labeled you, measured you, judged you, but he never has. In his eyes, you are not a problem to be fixed, or a failure to be hidden. You are his beloved. You always have been, even when you walked away, even when you doubted, even when you couldn't feel him near. He was there, and he's here now. You don't feel the need to respond, not yet. There's no pressure to perform, no expectation that you need to suddenly be okay. You can just listen. You can let his words wash over you like rain on dry ground. He tells you stories, not the kind meant to impress or entertain, but stories meant to remind you of who he is. He speaks of the lost sheep, the one no one else went looking for, but he did. He speaks of the woman at the well, carrying shame and questions, yet finding the one who saw her and still called her worthy. He speaks of storms calmed with a word, of broken hearts made whole, of dark nights that ended in dawn. Each story he tells feels like it was chosen, just for you, and maybe it was. You begin to understand that his words aren't just stories from long ago. They are words for this moment, for this night, for your heart. He tells you that he is not far, that he is not angry, that he is not waiting for you to fix yourself. He's waiting for you to let him in, not just into the polished, carefully arranged parts of your life, but into the messy, unspoken corners, the doubt, the fear, the grief, the parts you've hidden away because they felt too heavy to carry into the light. But he's not afraid of any of it. He welcomes it. He welcomes you. And still, his voice keeps coming, gentle, steady, full of grace. He tells you that rest is not earned, it's given, and tonight, it's yours. You don't have to figure it all out. You don't have to have the perfect faith, or the right words, or the cleanest past. You just have to be here, with him. That's enough. That's always been enough. His voice begins to quiet again, not because there's nothing left to say, but because he knows your soul is listening now in a deeper way, a quieter way. The way you listen not just with your ears, but with your heart. And as his voice fades into the stillness, you feel changed, maybe not in any outward way, but in the way a seed is changed once it's been touched by light. Something has taken root, something holy, something healing. You don't need to rush it, just let it grow. Let his words echo softly in your spirit as the night deepens around you and peace gently takes its place. The one who speaks stars into being has spoken to you, and that, in itself, is more than enough. The path begins to widen now, and just ahead you see a clearing bathed in the soft glow of twilight. The light is golden and quiet, like the last warm breath of the day before night gently takes its turn. As you and Jesus step off the dusty road, your feet touch soft grass, and you find yourselves in a vast open field, untouched, alive, and stretching wide under the fading sky. It's the kind of place you didn't realize your soul was longing for, a place where time slows, where nothing feels rushed or forced, where the air carries the faint sweetness of wildflowers and the hush of peace. The field is dotted with color, small blossoms swaying in the breeze, each one unique, yet together creating a quiet masterpiece. You pause to take it in, and Jesus walks with you through the center of it all, his steps just as slow and gentle as yours. There's a deep calm here. It's not the kind of peace that demands your attention. It doesn't shout or sparkle or demand to be noticed. It just is. And the more time you spend here, the more you begin to notice how deeply tired you were without even realizing it. Tired not just in your body, but in your soul. Tired of trying to keep everything together. Tired of feeling like you had to earn rest. Tired of comparing yourself, questioning yourself, carrying doubts that you were never meant to carry. But in this field, something begins to shift. Jesus stops near a cluster of flowers and kneels down, gently touching one of the smallest among them. It's nothing extraordinary by the world's standards. Tiny, with soft purple petals and a stem that leans slightly in the breeze. But he looks at it with deep affection, like it's the most important part of creation in that moment. He turns to you, and with the same tenderness in his eyes, he says, "Even this flower was created with care. Its colors, its shape, its timing, and if this one matters, how much more do you?" The words settle into you, not just as a nice thought, but as truth. You've heard that you matter before, but something about hearing it here, in this quiet place, from him, it reaches a part of you you didn't know was waiting to be seen. He doesn't say it because he has to. He says it because it's real. You were not an accident. You were not a mistake. You were not a burden to carry or a project to fix. You were crafted, shaped, loved, intentionally. As you continue walking through the field, your fingertips brush the tops of the tall grass, and you begin to breathe differently, deeper, slower. It's like your soul finally realizes it doesn't have to be on guard anymore. There's nothing to prove here, nothing to defend. Jesus isn't keeping score. He isn't measuring you against anyone else. He just walks with you, patient, unshaken, present. He notices every detail of this place, every bird in the branches, every petal in bloom, and it begins to dawn on you that he notices the details of your life just as carefully. The things you think go unseen, he sees them. The silent prayers whispered late at night, the moments you showed kindness when no one was watching, the tears you wiped away before anyone noticed. They were not missed by him, not one. You reach a gentle rise in the field and sit down together on the grass. There's no need to fill the silence. You lean back, your body beginning to feel heavier in the best way, like it's finally allowed to rest. Jesus sits beside you, calm and still, his gaze out toward the horizon, where the sun has now dipped below the line of the earth, leaving behind a sky brushed with deep blues and soft pinks. Everything feels like it's slowing down, and it's not uncomfortable, it's freeing, like your heart finally has space to just be. No agenda, no anxiety, just this moment, just his presence. He looks at you again, and without saying a word, you understand. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to be anything more than what you are right now. Loved, held, enough. The field around you becomes almost like a whisper, every flower a soft reminder. Grace, grace, grace. Not earned, just given, freely, abundantly, for you. The breeze grows cooler now, brushing across your face and carrying with it the scent of evening, the sweet, earthy scent of growing things, of new beginnings, hidden just beneath the soil. Jesus places his hand gently on your shoulder, not to instruct or correct, but just to remind you that he is still here, that he's not going anywhere. And as the sky begins to fill with the first few stars, you realize something you maybe haven't felt in a long time. You are safe. Safe to let go. Safe to believe again. Safe to rest. You lie back in the grass, the wildflowers swaying gently beside you, and you feel the earth holding you. You feel grace holding you. You feel Jesus with you. And in this quiet field, far from the demands of the day, you finally let your soul breathe. You close your eyes, not in exhaustion, but in peace. The field, the flowers, His presence, they remain. You are not alone. You are never alone. And tonight, here, in this sacred stillness, you begin to truly rest. The field begins to slope downward now, gently leading you and Jesus toward a quiet sound that rises softly in the distance. It's the sound of water, steady, calming, like a lullaby whispered by creation itself. You follow the sound, and soon the tall grasses part to reveal a narrow stream winding peacefully through the land, its surface smooth as glass and kissed by the last light of dusk. The water moves slowly, unhurried, as if it has all the time in the world. You walk closer, and the air grows cooler, touched by the freshness of the stream. The peace that surrounds you deepens, as if the very air is hushed by reverence. Everything here feels intentional, every stone under the water, every ripple, every reflection. Jesus steps ahead and kneels at the edge, and you follow, lowering yourself beside him. For a moment, you both just sit in silence, watching the water move, listening to its rhythm. There's something about flowing water that draws the soul into quiet. It doesn't force its way forward, it flows, always forward, always in motion, but never frantic, never harsh. It finds its way by yielding, not by pushing. And as you gaze into the stream, you begin to see yourself in it. How often you've tried to push through life, to force answers, to carry burdens alone, to make things happen in your own strength. But here, beside these still waters, you're invited into a different way of being. Jesus reaches down and lets his hand glide just beneath the surface. The water flows around his fingers without resistance. This, he says softly, is how you were made to live, in rhythm with me. Not striving, not straining, but trusting. His voice is so quiet, but somehow it carries more weight than any noise the world could offer. You dip your own hands into the stream, and the water is cool and clear, wrapping your fingers like a gentle whisper. You let it wash over you, and for the first time in a long while, you realize how thirsty your spirit has been, not just for rest, but for this kind of presence, still, steady, overflowing. You watch as a leaf floats gently past on the water's surface, carried effortlessly by the current. It doesn't try to control where it's going, it simply rests in the flow. And you wonder, what if that could be you? What if you stopped clenching so tightly to every outcome, every plan, every worry? What if you let yourself be carried by something greater, someone greater? Jesus looks at you with deep gentleness in his eyes. Let me be your rest, he says. Let me be your living water. And something inside you cracks open. You've heard those words before. You've read them. But now, they aren't just verses on a page. They are alive. They are near. They are meant for you. He invites you to drink, not with your hands this time, but with your soul. And so you do, not with words, not with effort, but simply by opening yourself, by receiving. It's strange how unnatural that can feel sometimes, to receive without earning. But here, beside the still waters, there is no transaction, only grace, only gift. You begin to understand that the stream doesn't just symbolize peace, it is peace, flowing, moving, constant. And like the stream, Jesus doesn't come and go. He doesn't dry up in your drought. He is always here, always ready to refresh, to renew, to restore. You think back on all the moments you tried to find peace in other places, distractions, accomplishments, even in trying to control your faith, but nothing ever satisfied for long. Not like this. Not like him. You take a deep breath, and the air feels cleaner somehow, as if the moment itself is a kind of prayer, unspoken, but fully heard. The breeze picks up, and you notice how the water sparkles in the moonlight now beginning to shine above. Time feels irrelevant here. You're not watching the clock. You're not planning the next thing. You're simply being, and it's enough. Jesus is still beside you, his eyes resting on the stream, and for a moment, you both just breathe together, like two friends who don't need to fill the silence, because the presence is more than enough. The water flows, the night deepens, and in your heart, something begins to settle. You don't have all the answers. You don't know what tomorrow holds, but you no longer feel the need to solve everything right now. You're not alone. You're not forgotten. You're seen, known, loved, and here, beside these waters, you are being restored. You close your eyes for a moment, and the sound of the stream becomes a song, a lullaby of peace, written just for you. And as you begin to drift closer toward rest, your last thought is not one of worry or unfinished plans. It's the gentle truth echoing in your spirit. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. The stream fades behind you as you and Jesus begin to walk again, the path turning now, gently winding upward toward the base of a quiet mountain. There's no rush in the journey, no pressure in the air, just a gentle invitation to follow where he leads. The slope is soft at first, rising through scattered trees, their branches arching overhead like a cathedral roof, leaves whispering softly as a breeze drifts through. With every step, you feel the land lifting you higher, and with every step, you notice your mind growing clearer, your spirit lighter, as if the weight of past worries and burdens is gently falling away, one by one, left behind in the valley below. You look up, and the path before you is dappled in gold, moonlight and starlight catching on dew-tipped grasses, illuminating the way ahead with a light that feels both new and ancient, like something holy lighting your journey. Jesus walks at your side, his pace unhurried, his presence a constant reassurance. He is not driving you forward with urgency or demand, but guiding you gently, the way a friend leads another up, a beloved hill they've climbed 1,000 times. There's no sense of being lost here. Even if you don't know where the path leads, you know who you're with, and that is enough. The air grows cooler as you climb, and each breath fills your lungs with a freshness you haven't felt in a long time. You notice how easy it is to breathe here, as though every step upward is also a step out of the crowded noise and confusion of daily life. The mountain is not an obstacle or a challenge meant to test you. It feels more like an invitation to see things from a new perspective, to lift your gaze from the ordinary and look up, higher, into the possibility of something more. As you walk, Jesus points out small wonders along the path, a tiny flower growing in the crack of a rock, resilient and quietly beautiful, a bird nesting in the shelter of a branch, safe and unseen except by those who look closely, the soft glow of fireflies gathering in the dusk, their light flickering like hope. With every gentle observation, you begin to see the world with new eyes, to notice the grace tucked into ordinary things, the miracles woven into what might have seemed mundane. You realize you've spent so much time looking for God in the grand gestures, the dramatic moments, that sometimes you've missed him in the simple gifts, the laughter of a loved one, the quiet strength to carry on, the warmth of sunlight on your face. The path grows steeper, but it does not feel harder. In fact, the climb feels strangely freeing. You find yourself able to move more easily now, not weighed down by doubt or fear. With Jesus at your side, you don't feel the urge to compare your pace to anyone else's. There is no competition here, no expectation that you have to reach the top first, or even reach it at all. Every step you take is enough. Every breath you draw is sacred. You notice how your heart is beating, not with anxiety, but with a sense of wonder and hope. At one point, you stop and look back over your shoulder. The view below you is wide, breathtaking. You can see the path you've walked, the field, the stream, the open spaces where you began to let go. From here, what once seemed so big now feels manageable, even small. You realize how much has changed in so short a time, how your perspective has shifted just by trusting, just by walking with him. Jesus catches your gaze, and there is a quiet pride in his eyes, not pride in your strength, but in your willingness to take the journey, to trust him step by step. See how far we've come? He says softly, and you know he's not just talking about the distance, he's talking about your heart, about the courage it takes to hope again, to rise from the places you once felt stuck, to climb when it would have been easier to stay where you were. You turn and continue upward, your feet finding their rhythm, your spirit steady. The wind is cool against your face, and you breathe it in deeply, grateful for every moment. The mountain seems endless, but you feel no fear. You are with the one who made the mountain, the one who knows every stone and tree and every secret hope inside your heart. You climb higher, and as you do, you begin to notice a soft glow ahead. The summit is near, and the sky above has turned a deep indigo, scattered with countless stars, each one a reminder of promises kept and dreams still possible. You finally reach the top, and together you stand in the silence, looking out over the vastness of creation. The world below stretches out before you, peaceful and still. You feel a sense of awe that is hard to describe, a sense that you are small but never insignificant. Jesus stands beside you, and in that moment, you understand something profound. Every step, every climb, every difficult stretch of the journey has brought you to this place. Not to impress him or prove your worth, but simply to share this view, to breathe in this hope, to know what it means to be free. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the peace of the mountains settle in your chest. You feel safe, you feel held, you feel loved. There are no more words, just the soft hush of the wind, the gentle beating of your heart, and the deep, unshakable presence of the one who has walked every step with you. As you stand on the mountaintop, you realize you don't need to strive for more. You have everything you need, right here, in this sacred, silent moment. And as you begin to rest, your spirit whispers thank you, not just for the climb, but for the gift of walking this journey with him. The gentle wind carries you onward, leaving the mountaintop behind, as Jesus leads you to a place tucked away from the world, a hidden garden, peaceful and quiet, filled with the fragrance of earth and dew. The air here is different, hushed and reverent, as if the very ground remembers every prayer ever whispered among these trees. You step beneath the branches of ancient olive trees, their leaves silvery in the moonlight, and feel a holy stillness settle around you. The grass beneath your feet is soft and cool, and you realize that even in this quiet, you are not alone. Every breath you take seems to blend with the very breath of creation, with the sighs and songs of 1,000 prayers that have filled this place across the centuries. You and Jesus find a spot beneath one of the oldest trees. Its trunk is thick, gnarled with age, and its roots reach deep into the earth. You sit together in the shelter of its branches, and the world grows wonderfully small, just you, Jesus, and the quiet music of the night. There's no need for conversation, no need to explain yourself or ask for anything. The silence becomes a gentle invitation to simply be, to let your soul settle into a rhythm of trust. You notice your heartbeat slowing, your thoughts becoming softer and less urgent. All the words that have crowded your mind all day seem to slip away, leaving space for something deeper, something sacred. Jesus sits beside you, his presence as steady and peaceful as the tree's ancient roots. You feel his quiet understanding, his patient love. There's nothing you have to do to earn this moment, nothing you need to prove. The garden welcomes you as you are, tired, hopeful, wounded, or wandering. Every part of you is allowed to rest here. The night is filled with gentle sounds, the distant chirp of crickets, the rustle of leaves, the quiet rhythm of your own breathing. The garden feels like a sanctuary, a place untouched by hurry or noise, a place where your spirit can unfold without fear. You close your eyes, letting your thoughts drift and settle. You remember the times you've longed for answers, for comfort, for assurance. Here in the garden, you begin to realize that you don't need to carry all your questions alone. Jesus is not distant or unreachable. He is closer than your next breath. He sits beside you in the silence, sharing in your burdens, holding your hopes, understanding even the prayers you can't put into words. You feel the gentle weight of his presence, not heavy, but grounding, reminding you that you are not forgotten, not unseen. The longer you sit in the garden, the more you sense a quiet invitation to pray, not with grand words or perfect sentences, but simply with your heart. You let your thoughts flow freely, not editing or hiding, just letting your soul speak. Your worries and joys, your griefs and dreams, all of it finds its way to him. In this sacred space, nothing is too small or too messy. Jesus receives it all with kindness, with the compassion of someone who truly understands. You realize that prayer isn't always about speaking. Sometimes, prayer is just being with the one who knows you best, letting your presence be enough. You sit for a long time, resting in the gentle presence of Jesus. There is no pressure to move, no hurry to finish. The garden seems to expand around you, a safe place for every longing, every sorrow, every quiet hope. The sky above is deep and vast, stars glittering through the branches, each one a silent reminder of promises kept, prayers heard, and nights watched over with love. You feel your heart opening, your soul softening, as if the garden itself is a place where new life begins, quietly and slowly, in the dark soil of trust. As you rest beneath the tree, you sense the gift of release, the freedom to lay down what you've been carrying, to leave it in the hands of Jesus. You breathe in the peace of the garden, and as you breathe out, you let go of what you no longer need. Fear, shame, regret, worry, they all slip away, like leaves falling gently to the ground. In their place, hope and comfort take root, quiet and strong. You realize that you are safe here, that you are loved, not in spite of your weaknesses, but right in the middle of them. In the silence of the garden, you feel yourself being restored, not all at once, but in the gentle way that new growth emerges after rain. You are reminded that you don't have to have all the answers, don't have to know what's next. Tonight, it is enough to rest, to be loved, to be seen. You and Jesus sit together beneath the ancient tree, the garden holding your prayers, your heart finding its home in the quiet companionship of the one who knows you, who has always loved you, and who promises never to leave you. The world beyond the garden fades away, and you are left with peace, with the steady, gentle love of Jesus beside you, with the knowledge that you can always return to this place, this inner garden of prayer, whenever you need rest. And as the night deepens, you let yourself lean into that promise, letting your soul rest in the company of the one who made you, the one who holds you, the one who welcomes you always, just as you are. Night has fallen softly now, the garden slowly giving way to a new kind of warmth and comfort. You and Jesus rise and continue your walk, moving through the gentle hush of darkness, guided not by sight, but by the certainty of his presence. Ahead, a faint, flickering glow begins to light the way, a small fire nestled in a clearing, its flames low and welcoming, its heat already reaching you before you arrive. As you draw near, the air grows cozy and safe, carrying the gentle scent of wood, smoke, and earth. The world feels smaller, wrapped in the embrace of night, but not closed in or lonely, just peaceful, just right. You find a place to sit near the fire, the ground soft beneath you, a blanket of comfort, waiting as if it has been prepared just for you. The warmth of the flames spreads over you, loosening the last edges of chill from your skin, inviting every muscle to release and relax. There's something ancient and good about sitting near a fire, the way it draws people close, the way it seems to listen and understand without needing words. Jesus sits across from you, the firelight dancing in his eyes, his face illuminated with a kindness that makes you feel both known and protected. Here, in this simple circle of warmth and light, you sense a belonging that's deeper than anything you've felt all day. As the fire crackles softly, Jesus begins to tell stories, not stories of power or conquest or grand achievement, but stories woven with gentleness and hope. His words are rich and steady, painting images in the quiet air. He speaks of the blind whose world was dark until he touched their eyes and light poured in for the very first time. He tells of those who had been pushed aside, forgotten, left alone, and how he reached out, welcomed them, drew them into the circle of love. Each story he tells is a reminder that nobody is too small, too far gone, or too broken for his touch. The lost are found, the hurting are healed, the overlooked are cherished. You listen, drawn into the warmth of each memory, feeling them like gentle hands around your own heart. The stories are not just from long ago, they are alive and near, echoing in your own life, the places where you have longed to be seen, the moments you have needed healing, the times you wondered if you could be welcomed back, no matter where you had wandered. You feel the truth in his stories, the way they move through you and settle into your bones, softening every fear, bringing comfort to wounds that still ache beneath the surface. The fire glows brighter for a moment, casting shadows that dance along the ground, making the night around you feel even more alive, more filled with mystery and promise. Jesus pauses, letting the stories hang in the air, letting them become your own. The flames reflect in your eyes, and you realize you are smiling, a true, gentle smile, the kind that only comes when you feel utterly safe, completely at home. There is no judgment here, no expectation that you perform or prove yourself. There is only welcome, only warmth, only the soft assurance that you belong right where you are. You pull the blanket closer around your shoulders, feeling the fire's heat soak into every part of you, inside and out. You become aware of how deeply you needed this, a place to sit and be still, to hear words of hope, to rest in the company of the one who loves you more than you can imagine. Jesus continues to share stories, not just of miracles and wonder, but of ordinary lives touched by extraordinary love, a tax collector who became a friend, a woman forgiven in her shame, a grieving family given back their joy. With every story, the fire seems to burn brighter, the night growing softer and safer all around you. There is laughter in some stories, and gentle tears in others. There is a thread of hope running through them all, a hope that says nothing is wasted, that every life matters, that love always finds a way. As you listen, you begin to feel your own story woven into the tapestry of God's care, your struggles and sorrows known and honored, your joys and victories celebrated. The fire becomes a symbol of all that is good and lasting, a reminder that even in the darkest night, there is light and warmth waiting for you. You and Jesus sit together in the silence that follows, both watching the flames as they slowly begin to burn lower, their warmth lingering in the air. You feel a deep sense of gratitude for the stories, for the companionship, for the invitation to simply be. The worries and fears that haunted you earlier in the day now seem far away, replaced by a calm assurance that you are seen, you are loved, you are safe. The fire may be small, but its warmth is endless. It is the light in the darkness, the welcome home after a long journey, the embrace that never lets go. As you close your eyes, letting the comfort of the fire and the stories of hope settle deep within you, you realize that this moment is a gift, a sacred pause in the middle of life's journey, a place to rest, to remember, to be renewed. And as the embers glow softly, you know that even when the fire burns low, the warmth of Jesus' presence will remain with you, guiding you, comforting you, holding you through the night and into the promise of morning. As the fire softens into a quiet bed of glowing embers, the world grows even more silent, a hush settling over the night, as if all creation is waiting for something gentle and good. The warmth lingers around you, holding you in its embrace, and you sense Jesus turning toward you in the golden light, his expression tender, full of knowing and kindness. There is a sacred stillness in this moment, a deep peace that makes every breath feel easier, every heartbeat more at home in your chest. He doesn't rush to fill the quiet with words. Instead, he waits, allowing you to simply be, to rest, to settle into the safety of this space. Then, in the glow of the last flames, Jesus begins to speak, not with many words, but with simple, quiet promises, each one settling around you like a soft blanket, each one spoken with a certainty that asks nothing from you but to receive. He promises that he will never leave you, not in the night or the day, not in joy or in trouble. He promises that you will never be alone, not even in the loneliest hour. Every word he speaks is like cool water for a thirsty spirit, like light in the hidden places of your soul that you sometimes try to hide. He reminds you that there is nowhere you could go, no height or depth, no distance or darkness, where his love would not find you, carry you, stay with you through every season. As you listen, The world seems to grow quieter still, as if even the stars above are pausing to hear these words meant just for you. He speaks over your worries, your questions, the places where you still feel uncertain. He tells you that his love is not fragile or fleeting, that it does not change with the winds of your circumstances or the shadows that sometimes creep across your mind. His love is a promise written before time began, a promise held in every sunrise and every gentle nightfall, a promise that you can always return to, no matter how far you've wandered. He reminds you that you do not have to strive for his approval, do not have to perform for his affection. You are his, cherished and known, not because of what you've done, but because of who he is, steadfast, faithful, unchanging. He reaches out, and you feel the gentle touch of reassurance, a presence more real than the flicker of the fire or the night air wrapping around your shoulders. You sense the invitation to lay down every burden, every secret worry, every fear of not being enough. He promises to carry what you can't, to walk with you in every step you take, to lead you into rest when you're weary and hope when you feel lost. His voice is soft, but his words carry the weight of eternity, a certainty that cannot be shaken by anything the world might bring. You let his promises wash over you, sinking deep into the places where you need them most. The memories of past hurts, the worries about the future, the ache of things unspoken, all of it seems lighter, smaller, in the light of his words. You remember how often you have tried to hold everything together on your own, how often you've felt alone in your struggles. But here, with Jesus beside you, you know that nothing can separate you from the love he has for you. No mistake, no failure, no sorrow is too great for his compassion. He promises to walk with you through the storms, to steady your steps on uncertain ground, to rejoice with you in every victory, and to sit with you in every valley. You begin to realize that these promises are not just for tonight, not just for quiet moments beside a fire or on peaceful evenings when everything feels right. They are for every moment of your life, for the days when you feel strong and for the nights when you feel small, for the times when faith comes easily and for the times when you are not sure you believe at all. His promises do not depend on your feelings or your faithfulness. They rest on his love alone, and that love is unbreakable. The stars above seem brighter now, as if echoing the hope you feel inside, their light joining the chorus of promises spoken over you. The embers fade, but the warmth remains, a reminder that his words will stay with you, a steady comfort through the darkest night. You close your eyes, letting the quiet promise fill every corner of your being, letting go of what you cannot control, accepting what you cannot change, trusting that you are held by hands that will never let you go. And as you drift closer to sleep, you carry these promises with you, soft, gentle, true, knowing that you are loved, safe, and never, ever alone. You lean back, letting the last warmth of the fire soak into your skin as the night deepens and stretches above you. The world is quiet now, every sound hushed and gentle, as if all of creation has gathered to witness this sacred peace. You open your eyes to the sky, and it feels endless, an ocean of deep, midnight blue, scattered with stars that glimmer and dance, as if placed there just for this moment. The air is cool, soothing, and still, filled only with the distant whisper of wind moving softly through the trees. Each breath you take feels slower, sweeter, like the world itself is encouraging you to rest, to be present, to simply receive. Jesus sits beside you, and for a long time, neither of you speaks. There's no need. You both gaze up, letting the silence work its magic, letting the quiet become a kind of language between you. The stars overhead are countless, more than you could ever hope to name, stretching from one horizon to the other in a gentle arc of light. Some shine bright and steady, others barely flicker, but together they create a beauty that fills you with wonder. You remember hearing once that not even one of these stars is forgotten by God, that each one has a place and a name. And as you rest under their gentle glow, you realize how much that is true for you as well, how nothing about you is forgotten, how every hope and every hurt, every joy and every question is held and known. There's a peace in this thought that goes deeper than words. You begin to feel yourself truly relax, sinking into the earth, becoming part of this wide, quiet universe. You look over at Jesus, his face serene in the starlight, and you sense that he is seeing more than just the sky. He is seeing you, the real you, the one beneath all the layers and worries, the you that sometimes feels lost or overlooked. And in his gaze, there is only kindness, only belonging, only the assurance that you are seen as precious, as wanted, as someone who matters beyond measure. The night grows deeper, and the sky even more brilliant. You watch as a shooting star traces a gentle arc across the darkness, a brief flash of light that leaves you in awe. It feels like a promise, a reminder that even the quickest, smallest moments can be beautiful, that nothing is wasted, that every instant is cherished. You remember the times in your life that felt like flickers, moments that passed quickly but meant everything. A word of kindness, a smile from a friend, a gentle hand in a difficult hour. These memories sparkle in your heart now, like stars of their own, each one proof that you are not invisible, that your story matters in the great, unfolding tapestry of life. As you lie beneath the stars, you begin to let your thoughts drift further and wider, wondering at the vastness of the sky and the one who created it all. How is it possible that you are seen in all of this, that your life, small as it may seem, is held with such care? Jesus seems to hear your question even before you speak it, and he quietly reassures you, you are never forgotten, you are never alone. Just as I know every star in the sky, I know every part of you. I have counted your every tear, celebrated every joy, and I will never let you go. His words sink into your spirit, filling you with a warmth that has nothing to do with the fire and everything to do with being loved, just as you are. Time loses its meaning as you rest under this vast expanse. You let your mind wander, your worries melting away, your heart swelling with gratitude. The longer you stay in this peace, the more you realize how precious and rare it is to feel so small and so cherished at the same time. The stars become your lullaby, their quiet presence, a steady comfort, their beauty, a promise that there is more to life than what you see or understand. You remember that every person you've ever cared for, every dream you've dared to dream, is known and treasured by the one who scattered these lights across the sky. No prayer is too quiet, no longing too hidden, no hope too small to be seen and loved by him. You breathe deeply, feeling the cool night air move in and out of your lungs, filling you with a peace that lingers long after the moment has passed. You sense that you are being held, watched over, wrapped in a love that is both gentle and infinite. The sky above is endless, but the presence beside you is near, closer than your next heartbeat. In this holy stillness, you begin to feel sleep drawing you near, your body heavy with rest, your spirit light with hope. The stars keep watch as you close your eyes, whispering reminders of all that is good and true. You are known, you are precious, you are never, ever alone. As you drift towards sleep, you carry the memory of the night sky with you, the beauty, the promise, the peace. You know that no matter how dark the world might sometimes feel, there are always stars above, always love surrounding you, always a place where you belong. And in the quiet company of Jesus, you let go, you rest, you are safe. You feel the gentle pull of sleep drawing nearer, your eyes growing heavier as the night deepens and quiets around you. The ground beneath you is soft and reassuring, holding you in a way that makes it easy to finally let go. You're not in a hurry to leave this moment. Instead, you sink deeper into it, allowing yourself to fully rest in the gentle presence that surrounds you. Jesus is still beside you, not saying a word, but you feel his closeness with every breath, like a steady heartbeat in the silence. There's no rush here, no expectations, only the peaceful invitation to let your heart settle and your mind drift. The stars overhead keep watch, their light faint but faithful, reminders that even in darkness there is always a gentle hope shining above you. As you close your eyes, you notice the last traces of worry slipping away. The questions and uncertainties that weighed on your heart begin to loosen, fading into the quiet. Every muscle in your body grows heavier, more relaxed, as if a soft hand is smoothing away the tension you've carried all day. You sense that you are safe, that nothing is required of you now except to rest, to allow the peace of this moment to fill every empty place inside you. In this deep stillness, you begin to realize how precious it is to simply be. No striving, no fixing, no trying to hold it all together. Here, you are allowed to let go, to trust that everything is cared for, that you are watched over by a love that never sleeps. Memories may rise and fall, thoughts may come and go, but each one feels softer now, lighter, less urgent. You remember the gentle walk, the quiet field, the peaceful waters, the climb and the garden, the firelight and the starry sky. Every step has led you here, to this holy moment of rest. You sense Jesus still at your side, his presence steady and comforting. It's a presence that knows you completely, that understands your weariness, your hopes, your fears, your dreams. He knows every hidden ache, every quiet longing, and he holds them all without judgment, only love. You realize that even as you drift towards sleep, you are not alone. You are never alone. He remains with you, watching over your rest, whispering peace over your heart and mind. Your breathing grows slower and deeper, your body heavy in the sweetest way, anchored in comfort and trust. You can almost feel a soft warmth, like being wrapped in the gentlest embrace, a promise that nothing can reach you here, nothing can disturb this sacred quiet. You let your mind wander, floating gently between wakefulness and dreams, the boundary between them softened by grace. In this in-between, you sense the kindness of Jesus, like a melody, steady and calming, singing over you with every heartbeat. He doesn't need you to do anything. He just wants you to know you are loved, just as you are, in this moment and every moment to come. You think about tomorrow, and instead of fear, you feel hope. You sense that whatever waits for you, you do not face it alone. There is a promise that goes with you, a gentle voice that will guide you, a hand that will hold you. No matter what the day brings, you can carry this peace within you, a peace not dependent on circumstances, but on the one who walks beside you. You find yourself letting go even more, your thoughts becoming softer, your spirit resting in trust. There is nothing left to do now, nothing left to prove. You are safe, you are cherished, you are enough. Sleep comes for you like a gentle tide, and you welcome it, knowing it is a gift. You let yourself drift, sinking deeper, floating on the certainty that you are guarded and cared for. You remember the truth that has carried you through this night's journey, that Jesus walks with you, not just in the story, not just in the quiet, but in every moment of your life. He is with you in the light and in the darkness, in your waking and in your dreams, in your strength and in your weakness. He is always near, always loving, always whispering rest and reassurance over your heart. As you finally surrender to sleep, you do so with a sense of gratitude, a deep and gentle joy. The story is not over. It continues with every breath, every new day, every quiet night. You are a beloved part of something beautiful, something lasting, something held in the hands of perfect love. And so you rest, breathing easily, peacefully, drifting into dreams, knowing that you are never alone. Tonight and always, you are held, you are loved, and you are free to rest.